Alright, tell me a little bit about what your business is.
It's 313 landscaping. We cut lawns, do gardening, stuff along those lines.
How'd you come up with that?
I started it when I was a freshman in high school in 2009. Pretty much out of necessity. I was tired of working. I caddied and did some other jobs, and had a few neighbors approach me about cutting their lawns. So it started slow and then just grew from there.
Was it just you, or did you have co-workers?
I had a partner that I started it. We were just doing the same thing, both cutting a couple local lawns, and we thought it'd be better to work together and make a business out of it.
Did you have many employees, or was it just you two working?
It started as just us two working, and as we grew, we had conflicts. We'd have to get employees, and then eventually got big enough we had to hire on some exclusive employees.
Okay, who motivated you? Was your dad into entrepreneurship, or?
Yeah, my dad actually owns a small business as well. I wouldn't say that he motivated me that much. It was kind of just I saw an opportunity and took it and thought I could do well, and it worked out.
Did you notice that where you live there was a big problem on shortage of companies cutting lawns already?
Yeah, there was definitely a shortage of companies, and then along with that, all the companies that did it were really big, and they were small residential lawns, so they charge a ton for something you can do in a very short amount of time.
Okay, what was your guys' unique value proposition to beat out the big companies?
Okay, so we definitely could beat them in price points as we didn't have as much overhead at all. And then on top of that, they liked that we had direct connection and relationship with them, as the big companies that never talked to them, wouldn't follow small requests. So we definitely worked along with them to meet the demands better and reduce price.
Okay, how'd you find your target market? Did you start out with parents, friends, or just the whole community, or?
Yeah, there was local people that we knew and parents, friends, and then we grew quickly just by word of mouth, and eventually did some advertising until we got to the point we wanted to be at.
How'd you guys make your money for the advertisements and to get started?
So from the beginning, when it became a business, we both decided that we were going to take a certain amount and then put a certain amount into overhead, which included advertising and just maintenance on lawnmowers and possibly buying new lawnmowers. So we took money out of there when we had enough, and it was a good move.
And what was you and your partner's backgrounds? Was it in expertise in lawn mowing, or did you know how to run a business plan? Or
our backgrounds weren't excellent. I think that's why it took us a while to grow, but we definitely learned expertise in lawn mowing and gardening quickly. And then also learned, I think we did a good job of identifying why people hired us, as far as I talked about earlier, the relationships and price, and so we really stuck with that and it worked out.
How did you figure out your price point?
Our price point came, the first couple we really didn't know what to do, and a couple people we took over from actually told us what other companies charged them, and we found out how outrageous it was. So we were able to find a price that we could easily get new houses with, as well as make some good profit.
Did you have trouble staying in business just because it's seasonal, or was it fine?
At first, we just kind of did it in the summers, and then we realized there's a lot more, fall cleanups comes after lawns, so you still have business there. And we eventually got into snow removal and gardening and spring cleanups also. So we took what started seasonal and kind of made it year-round.
Did you guys have to buy a truck to go house to house to carry all the heavy equipment?
Yeah, so we kept, like I said, we put money into overhead and we kept protecting it.
I thought my interview with Rob went very well. I learned a lot about what it took to start up a business, and he did it when he was very young, so it was interesting from that perspective as opposed to somebody who's older and has a bunch of knowledge. So it was interesting seeing what he had to do, how he grew the business, and how he mainly competed with the big competitors around the neighborhood that already existed. His landscaping company, has to do a lot with our first movers business because they had to get a truck for their equipment and we have to get trucks, and it was interesting to hear how long it took them to save up for that, how they decided what money they keep, what money they put back into the overhead. And I just felt like I learned a lot from mistakes that he said he made and that we would try to stay away from.